So this is the battle of the mid-range phones, Samsung Galaxy A72 versus Samsung Galaxy A52, and which one should you be buying and why. So in this video I will be talking about the similarities between these two phones, the differences as well. So without any further delay, let's get into it straight away and let's talk about these two phones. Last year Samsung's Galaxy A51 was the best seller phone from Samsung. And this year they have really amped up the game. They have put everything that they could in these phones and still keep the price low. So we have got a lot of stuff here that has trickled down from their flagship phones. So we've got 90 Hz refresh rate in these screens. So these are Super AMOLED Full HD displays. And then we've got fast charging, 25 watts fast charging actually. So this is like flagship S21 Ultra fast charging on these phones. Then we've got stereo speakers, we've got IP67 rating, so that's water and dust resistance right there on these phones. And then we've got in-display fingerprint scanners, and on top of all that we have got the latest software on these phones, so One UI 3.1. Flipping over, we have some amazing camera hardware on these phones. So we have 64 megapixel primary shooter on these phones with optical image stabilization. We also have 12 megapixel ultra wide cameras, and on A72 we have telephoto lens which is optically image stabilized as well, and we've got 5 megapixel macro lenses on these phones. Now there is a difference in the camera modules at the back and I'll go into more detail of it. So there's no denying that these two phones are amazing phones. We also have huge batteries in these phones as well, not to mention the fast charging, which I've already mentioned actually. Now that we have talked about the similarities between these two phones, let's put them out of the way and talk about the differences. And that brings me to the topic of this video. 3 reasons why you should be buying A72 over A52. So let's talk about that. So the first thing that I want to talk about is also the most important one, and that is the telephoto lens on A72 and absence of it on A52. So as I've already mentioned before, we have a 64 megapixel primary camera, and then we have got a 12 megapixel ultra wide camera. We have telephoto lens on A72 which is optically image stabilized, but we don't have that on A52. On A52 instead we have a depth lens, and then we have got a 5 megapixel macro lens on these phones. If you like to zoom in on your photos and not lose that image quality really quickly, Samsung Galaxy A72 is your choice, should be your choice actually. So they have added the software here. I don't know why they haven't added this feature to A52. This was their best seller last year. They should have really treated A52 with some more respect, but they decided to leave out the telephoto lens out of it. Look here, if I tap on these two buttons here, you can go to 30x on A72, but you can only go to 10x on A52. So there you go. And then as soon as you go beyond 2x, you lose image quality on A52 drastically. So there is no optical zoom on A52, but there is optical zoom on A72. On A52 it's just digital zoom actually, so you are cropping in on the photo and losing image quality. So if this is something that matters to you, your choice is really simple and easy, and that should be Galaxy A72 over A52, since this is something that you cannot really buy off the shelf after you've bought the phone. And then the telephoto lens on A72 is also optically image stabilized, so if you go beyond 4x and 10x and 20x, you will see this viewfinder here. This allows you to capture the image with much more stability. So if telephoto lens and zooming in on your objects is something that you want to do and something that you care about, there is only one obvious choice for you, and that is Samsung Galaxy A72, because this is not something that you can buy off the shelf after you have made the purchase. You need to have the hardware on the phone before you buy it. Now moving on, I want to talk about the battery size on these two phones. So we have 4500 mAh battery on Samsung Galaxy A52 and 5000 mAh battery on A72. Now I've been using these two phones for a while now, for a few days now, and battery life on both of them is really good. So you can easily get 1.5 days on A52, and beyond that maybe around 2 days on A72. I have never really needed to charge any of these phones at night. You can really push them into the second day really easily. But this still also depends on your use case scenario. If you're playing games like crazy all day long, games like PUBG and Call of Duty, then you will definitely drain your phone out of battery. My point here is that when you buy a phone, you buy it for a long term, right? And the batteries on these phones degrade really quickly. After a year, you will see a downfall of the battery. So the more you have to start with, the more you will have to end with, right? So my choice would be A72, and that's because it has a bigger battery, 5000 mAh, goes longer, and it charges quickly, and the best thing is that you get the fast charger in the box, 25-watt super fast charger in the box with A72, and you'll have to buy one. If you are getting A52, you'll get an adaptive fast charger in the box, so you'll have to buy one afterwards, but that doesn't really make any difference. The difference is the battery in the phone. So at the end of the day, after a year or 2 years, you'll still have more battery life on A72 as compared to A52. So it's up to you to decide how much important is battery life to you. For me, it's really important. I would give up everything else, but still would want to have a bigger battery in my phone if all the other features are same. I would go for the bigger battery. Anyways, moving on, let's talk about the next reason why I think you should get A72 over A52, and that is the screen size. Now, granted, there's not much of a difference in the screen size here. We have got a 6.5-inch screen on A52 and a 6.7-inch screen on A72. So we've got a bigger screen and we have got a bigger body as well. So it's clear visibly here that A72 is a bigger phone, is a taller phone, also wider as compared to A52. A72 carries a bit more weight as well as compared to A52, but that's not much of a difference there. Personally, I am used to of bigger displays. I like 6.7, 6.8, 6.9 inch displays now, and the bigger they are, the better for me. And A72 actually fulfills that craving. It has a 6.7-inch display, and then we have a camera cutout on the top, so it's just all display. Now don't get me wrong, A52 also has a very similar experience. It's not much smaller, but when you compare the two side by side, it does feel like a smaller phone as compared to A72. And if you look at them side by side, the screen feels much larger as compared to A52. Also, another advantage, the text is bigger, the photos are bigger, you have a much better viewing experience when you're watching movies. Playing games is also easier. So the whole thing feels like a better experience on A72 as compared to A52. But if you don't have these phones side by side in your hands to compare, then A52 is alright as well. You would really hardly ever notice the difference. But if any one of your friends come up with A72, then that phone is going to seem a lot bigger as compared to your A52. So keep that in mind. These are the things that you need to make sure that you are aware of before you make this buying decision between A72 and A52. They're both great devices, but when you add on all these features, a telephoto lens, a bigger display, bigger battery, and you're getting the super fast charger in the box with A72, it feels like a much better package as compared to A52. So now I also want to know from you guys, which phone are you looking for to buy between these two, A72 or A52, and the more crucial thing is why. So let me know in the comments. I'm really eager to know. So that's about it from this video, guys. I hope you have enjoyed this video and I have added some value to your buying experience. If you have enjoyed the video, let me know in the comments and give this video a thumbs up. Also subscribe to the channel for the next video where I will tell you why you should be considering A52 over A72. See you in the next one. Till then, take care. Bye-bye.